On this week's episode, Scott gets mad at me again.
Hey, it's only because you made me talk for the whole freaking show.
Yeah, this show. What I wanted to do was, since you got mad at me last week, I want to do something special for you and let people learn about you. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Let's start the show and learn more about Scott.
Wait, what? That's really all we're going to talk about?
Welcome to the Don't Know Show. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott, and this is a tale of how bad life decisions led to a YouTube show, a podcast, and a live Twitch stream.
That's right, everybody. We're going to talk about what we think or know is going on in the world today. Hey, hello, doggy. You can come up. Bark, 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 bark. Look who's joining the show.
Wow, we haven't seen you in a while.
I've been on the show in a while.
What are you doing upstairs?
Hey, hi, Stevie. Hey, Jeannie. Say hi. Say hi to everybody.
I know we discussed this a long time ago, but I have forgotten again. The exposed front teeth is a breed trait. What is the breed?
Rescued.
Yeah, it's a rescue mutt. We don't know.
Chihuahua somewhere in there. What you got, Sadie? Hey.
Because I've seen that in a breed, but I can't remember which one it was. It wasn't a Chihuahua.
I want your kiddo Taco Bell.
No mas pantalones.
Tell everybody what kind of dog you are. What kind of dog are you? What kind of dog are you? Ooh. Ooh.
You're a cute dog. That's all that matters.
What kind of dog are you? What kind of dog are you? She's a talkie dog.
Is she your dog? Is she Peggy's dog, or is she the kid's dog?
Okay, so it's Courtney's dog. So Courtney, after we got rid of Lucky and moved, Courtney wanted a dog again. So she tricked Peggy into getting Nala, which is Nala up here? Hey, Nala. Hey, Nala. 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 Here. Come on. Come on, Nala.
Isn't that interesting how Steve's voice goes up 2 octaves when he talks to the dogs?
The girl dogs. Whoops.
Well, you think they only hear in the higher octaves?
Yeah, they only because they come to their dog. Yeah. So this is Nala. Nala was first, and Courtney wanted to go out and get a lizard. So she was out looking for lizards.
Okay, it's not like you don't have a bunch of them around there.
Right, but Courtney wanted a lizard, and then Nala, hello, come here. And Nala was
and she found this big lizard that had this big round tummy, and when she picked it up, Nala popped out.
And she talked Peggy into going, well, if I don't get the lizard, which Peggy didn't want lizards, could I just get this dog instead? So
that sounds suspiciously like advanced planning.
It definitely was. It was manipulation all the way. Good job, Courtney. And then
hey, first you got to congratulate Peggy for teaching her daughter the proper way to run the world.
Yep. And then wanted a companion for Nala, right? Because Nala was abused. We got Nala. She's about 3 or 4. We don't know. Again, a rescue dog, but was severely abused with puppy milled. She had just got through a pregnancy when we got her, and whoever abused her was a large male, because whenever men came around, she would go hide, run, and cower, and including me. So she booked out, but was always quiet, didn't get along with other dogs. She didn't get along with them, like chased them or growled at them, just went and hid.
Yes.
So we wanted to bring her out of her shell a little bit. And when my mother-in-law was in town, Courtney had been scouting dogs again, and found Sadie,
which should have been named Scout.
Sadie. And then after we got Sadie, Courtney decided she wanted a tree frog, and she has a tree frog called Franklin. That's been
we had tree frogs for a while here.
So yeah, so we've got the 2 dogs and a tree frog.
We actually have them every summer here.
And back to your original question, they are all Courtney's. I am, when it comes to any one of the animals, I am number 6 or 7, depending on how you want to count it.
Okay.
You-
Not
you
bad
know,
out of a 4-person household.
well, yeah, exactly, because they'll go to the other animal before they'll go to me. So not sure why they're up here, but
Probably they heard me.
Nala goes to Peggy, Sadie goes to Dakota. Then Nala and Sadie will switch Dakota and Peggy, and then Courtney's in there somewhere. Sometimes she moves to number 2. Most of the time she's number 3. Then Sadie will go to Nala, or Nala will go to Sadie, or they'll go hang out with Franklin. And then if everybody's gone and they're bored, they'll come by me.
As long as they don't go number 2 on number 2.
So that is them. But yeah, they haven't been on the show in a while, so that was cool.
Yep.
So that's not what this show is about, though.
We've seen goobers on the show more than they've seen them.
Yeah, the show is about what's going on in the world today. Obviously, the Ukraine-Russian war is still going on.
Yeah, making life miserable for the entire world.
Yeah, well, they're trying to crush us, which is also scaring me a lot from how the government's going to use this to economically control us more.
Yep. Crypto's already going wacko.
You've already seen what Canada did to lock down money, but that shouldn't surprise people. God save the Queen. They're still a sovereign. They didn't have the 4th of July, so there's that. And then if they do the crypto backed country currency, that's going to be bad, because then they you see they want to lock off everything, keep it away from people so they can't use it. And the whole point of crypto is so that you can't have your money locked up.
Right.
So that's all cool. But yeah, so that's what's scary. So
well, what's
got
really
other
scary
people-
is it looks like somebody's going to climb over that wall and attack you.
from where?
I don't know. It's hard to tell the picture. Are you
Okay,
like
all right. So one of the things that I did was I decided to go back to, how do I get out of the way so you can see it? I really can't get out of the way.
no?
I'm in the way.
Because when you lean over, your shoulders goes up.
So I've started hitting some of the casinos that I haven't been to that opened up since COVID, right? Because I have a collection of
Yes.
$1 chips from all the casinos in Vegas.
Wow.
And
I just get mine from the monks.
so this casino, this is one of the new casinos lobby. What casino is that? Because you can obviously tell from the decor what casino. I was very disappointed in this casino. But here you go. What casino is this? You need some help on what the new casinos are?
Well, I don't know what any of the casinos are.
Okay, so the new casino.
Well, I know the Sahara. Is the Sahara still there?
The Sahara.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I remember that from the movies.
Well, it's on Sahara. It's now the SLS, and it's been sold and bought a couple times. But yeah, that's one of the newer ones. But that's pre-COVID. Since COVID, you've got Circa, which is downtown. That's owned by the guy from the D from Detroit. You have OYO, which used to be Hooters. Now it's OYO. So San Remo became
Hooters had their own
which then
casino?
became They used to. They're going to have one again. They bought the Mirage. They're going
Okay.
to build a guitar. They're going to take down the volcano and build a guitar tower, which will, I think I mentioned this before, which will finally make Con Air make sense. Because when Con Air was flying in past Circus, it smashed into the guitar, which
Right.
is like impossible because they're at the opposite ends of the strip, and the guitar used to be off the strip by the
Yep.
airport. But whatever.
But it was a great shot in the movie.
Yeah. So what did I say? Circa, OYO, Resorts World opened up, and that's got 3 hotels in it. So that could be one of the lobbies there. And the last one is the Virgin Casino, which used to be the Hard Rock Casino, but then Branson bought it, and it's the Virgin Casino. But it's not the Virgin Casino, because well, it is the Virgin Casino, but it's the Mohegan Sun Casino. It's a Mohegan Sun Casino. So it's not inside isn't decorated. Casino's not decorated like the Virgin. It's decorated like the Mohegan Sun Casino. So I'm like, that's so weird.
Okay. Because first of all, I'm looking at that and it does not look like a casino at all.
Okay, exactly, which is one of the reasons I was disappointed in it, in the casino.
I mean, honestly, you know what that looks like? It looks like one of those wings in a mall that have the weird shops in it, like you
Right.
know, the fingernail place.
Yeah,
The,
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That, my friend, right there is the Mohegan Sun Virgin Casino check-in.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, you need to go over there sometime during your free time, you know, because you have a lot of free time. Have a talk with them and tell them we will redesign this for $500,000.
Yeah, they whatever they spent on it was too much.
Well, I'm figuring that, you know, $500,000, we'll design a great one for them.
Yep. And then Friday night, head over to the Tuscany Casino, hit the Piazza Lounge, and watch the Kenny
I
Davis.
thought that was in
Tuscany, California.
Yeah.
No.
Why are you stomping your foot?
Want your attention because he
I
saw
already-
the dogs on the show. He's like, "Hey, how come I'm not on the show?"
He doesn't really like it. It's, you know, he's getting better. He stays here almost 4 seconds now.
So let's get on to the subject of this show.
Well,
And
you
this
didn't talk
show-
about what's behind me yet.
That's what we're going to talk about. The subject of the show, the celebration of Scott Thomas. This is the celebration of Scott Thomas. Is that a chicken soup or a chicken stew?
It is not.
Or is that pulled pork?
It is pulled pork fajitas
Ah, very
from
nice.
scratch.
Very nice.
So I have been eating more vegetables.
That's good. I'm glad.
Granted, they're cooked in bacon grease
Well,
to make
yeah.
them taste better.
Remember that one? It used to be every year they had. Oh my god, my head hurting. I'm going to be scratching it.
At least once a year, your head hurt.
No, scientific. The I don't know. There was
We
a
already
food of
talked
the
about the
year.
Puppy Bowl, which is once a year.
There was a food of that. There was a food of the year, and there was this food of the year that is not good for you. It was food that they thought was healthy food, but the way we prepare it makes it unhealthy.
Okay.
So one of the things was like popcorn.
Yes. If you
Popcorn
pop
in
it
and
is
itself
healthy.
is healthy.
Yes.
However, when you go and buy it from the theater and you put a cup of theater butter on it and then salt it down, it's not
Yep.
good for you.
No, but it tastes good. Because if it's just
Pasta.
air popped, it tastes like crap.
No taste, right? Then there's pasta, which is good for you in and of itself. But if you make it fettuccine Alfredo, not so good.
No. Chicken fettuccine Alfredo. That's the way to do it.
Well, Alfredo sauce. The
Yes.
chicken, like noodle and
Hey, now you're going to have to get Poe to come on the show.
who?
Poe,
Help me out.
Kung Fu Panda.
Why?
His dad was the noodle man, and he became the noodle man.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so if you take
You tell me, I don't pay attention to the world.
you take fettuccine and you toss it with butter,
Yes,
Parmesan cheese,
yes,
add some heavy cream,
correct.
some butter. Boy, I said butter, but you add more butter, eggs. What else do you put in there that makes it
A little bit of salt,
yummy?
sometimes a little pepper.
No, I'm talking about what makes it yummy.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, but heavy cream, butter, Oh yeah. No, that doesn't make it unhealthy for you.
Until you look at the caloric intake.
Yeah. So like,
It's stupid, but it's so good.
right. So get back to your meal behind you.
Yes.
I made good food and then added bacon grease to it.
Well, it's technically not a lot of bacon grease. It's like 2 tablespoons go in the
Doesn't
pan.
matter.
You
Point
know,
being is that, that's what,
right. It's not as healthy as if I cooked it in olive oil.
or yeah, or just, stir fried up the veggies and threw it in there with a,
Yeah. Well,
A
if you don't have
grilled-
some kind of oil, it all burns to the pan. So That's why
pretty much butter, cheese, and cream is what you add. Fettuccine.
and Parmesan.
Yeah, cheese. That's cheese. Parmesan is cheese. That's what I call.
Well,
Parmesan.
this is not good.
So
We haven't even gotten to the halfway point of the show, and guess what? I'm done with already.
you're out of your drink. Bummers.
Good thing I got one more bottle up here. I just got to go back and get it in a few minutes.
Okay, well, go get it while I explain to everybody what we're going to do this show. This is going to
Okay.
be a celebration of Scott's show. While Scott gets up and shows you his booty, get up and show us your booty, and go get it. There you go. And we are going to do something we don't do often enough, and that's talk about Scott and his life and what he's done. And what's the date on that one?
This one's newer. This one didn't expire until December 20th.
There you go. There you go. Of 21 or 20?
21, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So it's expired too, but better
Would've
than
been worse.
July.
could have been worse. Could have been, yeah, could have been worse though. Could have been not till December. Oh, shoot, year before that one.
Yeah.
No, could have been worse.
I've been cooking a lot more, right?
That's good.
Because this is a slow season, so I'm cooking.
Ah,
And I've been going through the freezer, the deep freezer out in the garage. I've been going through the pantry. I'm finding stuff from like 2017. I'm going, it's still good.
pre-COVID.
Oh, criminy.
So let's talk about Scott.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
And you want to start there?
No.
Okay.
Well, I normally
You
would
brought it
not
up
today.
It's your show. It's in honor of you. So whatever you want to talk about or don't want to talk about, we can talk about. Do you want to do this chronologically, or do you want to do it by exciting?
Well, what's exciting?
The Love Boat. Exciting and new. Exciting and new. Oh, my voice is shot.
You know, I realized that very little of that show was actually filmed on a boat. But yes, folks, most stuff you see is filmed in studios.
You mean when they're on airplanes, they're not actually up in the air flying around?
What's
get all the
really
cameras?
awesome is okay, we're both professional drivers, right? So we're watching a show and the driver turns their head to talk to the passenger for 30 straight seconds. You can't do that in real life.
So that's James Corden got in trouble for that because he does carpool karaoke,
Yes.
and then they show the car up on a trailer.
Well, they're who was
some
it?
of the times he is driving and some of the times he's not.
Yes.
But yeah, it's not safe to be doing singing the songs and all that stuff and driving. It wouldn't be safe. So
yeah, the
people got mad at that. I don't know
there
why.
was actually a commercial last year during the summer where the guy goes, I'm not really driving this car. And then they pan out and you see that there's a film truck in the front with a tow bar pulling the car and they're filming while they're driving. They're literally going down the highway.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's being towed on a dolly.
Well, same thing with motorcycles. You know how hard it would be for the actor to stay
impossible.
on the camera on a motorcycle?
By the way, folks, whenever you see a science fiction movie and you see them put the helmet on, the light goes on and shines on their face, in real life, there's no light for the real astronauts because it would blind them.
Yeah, you need the light. There's lights inside cars and stuff like that too.
Yes, because otherwise you wouldn't see their face.
Yeah.
Hollywood is really, really smart at making things look good.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a video.
That's why I want to get to Hollywood. I want me to look good. They can do it. Which reminds me, one of the things I did want to talk about today, and I was going to put it in there. Remember I told you we broke down and we purchased some streaming services?
Oh yeah.
We binged watched all 4 seasons of Star Trek Discovery.
Oh yeah, yeah. You were telling me you were watching that. So.
Yes. And one of my favorite character actors, I can never remember his name, but I get a kick out of it. He plays more aliens than anybody else on the planet. And now he has an actual lead role on Star Trek Discovery.
Oh.
He is Captain Suru.
So there, look at the trailer.
Yep.
See the camera over the side? See the bars and everything all over the place?
You betcha.
See, it looks like he's riding it.
It sure does. Except if you look really close down to the bottom corner, you can see the trailer, but it's edited out in the actual movie.
It bolted.
Yeah. It was.
Even a microphone.
A lot of people, including my wife, do not like Tom Cruise because of his quote unquote religion, politics, whatever.
Well, that's not Tom Cruise. That's Shia LaBeouf.
I realize that. But he does the majority of his own stunts because he's good. And some of the motorcycle scenes that you see him riding, he's really the one riding the bike. But when you see him zipping between 2 speeding trains going like this, no, that's all special effects. Yeah. You can't take a chance of having a slight malfunction and having a dead star. But anywho's, so we also then watched over the weekend the entire first season of Picard. And then tonight for dinner, we watched the first episode of The Mandalorian.
Ooh, The Mandalorian.
So we are enjoying our streaming service. The only thing we don't like is the amount of buttons you have to push to get to everything.
Yeah.
Although I'm getting better because I found out you don't have to actually go through the whole thing. You can hold the one button at the top and talk to it and they'll find it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You got the forward
cool.
talker.
Yeah.
With the talkie thingy.
The thingy talkie.
Yep. So since you're trying to avoid talking about yourself, I will pick the subject and go there. So let's talk about your childhood. What are some of the things that you remember or like, or want to share about your childhood? You were born.
Okay. When Alaska, I was very young, I found out that if I unscrewed my belly button, my butt would fall off. So every morning I would unscrew my belly button, send my butt to school, and then I'd go out and play. And then when my butt came home from school, I'd screw it back on and I became a smartass.
So when your dad used to say you better get your ass to school, you took it literally.
Exactly. Okay. But actually it was my mom that did that.
So from an early age, Scott was a comedian.
No, I was just stupid.
Okay.
But it was funny.
Did you like school? Did you have a favorite subject?
Yes and no. I did like school because there were certain things I was very good at. I was good at basic math. Do you remember the game called Around the World?
Yeah, I've heard it. I don't remember it. I don't think I ever played it, but I have. They still play that in school today.
I would assume so because it's really, really good. The first person, you got the desks all lined up. The first person stands up and goes to the desk behind them. And the teacher puts up a flashcard and it's math. It's basic math. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division.
5 plus 5.
Right. First one to answer it.
No, the answer is 10. Not right or left. 10.
Okay. So whoever answers it gets to go to the next chair. And the first person to get all the way back to their own seat wins. The only one who could beat me was Jan Elias, who was from Estonia, and his father was what the hell is the word I'm looking for? A aerospace engineer. There we go.
Mathematician?
Yeah, it's all math. So the kid was just, oh my God, he was so freaking awesome. He's the only one that could beat me. It was him and me.
Awesome. You just got to be fast at seeing the numbers. And there's so many different ways to do math.
Yes.
It's funny.
You can use your fingers. You can use your toes. You can even use your private parts.
Well, you know the 9 secret, right? To do 9 times any number. We've talked about that.
Yes. I don't remember how it works, but I remember it.
Pick a number between 1 and 10.
6.
Okay, drop the 6th finger. All right. How many fingers are here?
5.
How many fingers are here?
Well, you
Count the thumb.
Yeah. All
How
right.
many fingers?
4.
Okay, what's the answer?
9.
No, 54.
54. Oh.
9 times 6 is 54.
Oh.
Pick another number between 1 and 10.
1.
Okay, 1. How many fingers?
9.
Okay. You didn't know this one?
Now, what happens if you're missing fingers?
Then you just take the spaces.
Oh.
3, 27, 8, 72, 9, 81.
Isn't that cool?
You didn't know that?
Well, no, I didn't.
Which one did you think there was?
I thought there was. I remember when we were talking about Rubik's cubes. You're supposed to count, and it's like series of 9s for twisting or something.
Oh, I don't know that. I used to know how to solve a Rubik's cube, but I think it was a long way. I think there's a faster way to solve it now. But it was you start with the corner and you do the top, then you do the center, then you do the bottom. I think there's a faster way now. So,
All I remember is that there was a point where I used to be able to get it done in under 5 minutes.
so you could solve a Rubik's cube.
Yes.
That's very good. Yeah, I had to go through the steps and the progression. I would never like those guys that just spin it and go, and it's solved.
Yes.
Those guys are fun. So what else about your childhood?
Well, I think one of the cool things was I was kind of short and chubby, and I got picked on a lot. So that's why I took being funny to try to diffuse those situations.
Why you picked up the name Funguy?
Correct. I was also in Boy Scouts, and we were in one of the top rated troops in the country, which is really interesting because just over this past weekend, I ran into somebody who was very heavy into the Boy Scouts local area. And when I started telling him about the stuff we do, he actually recognized my troop from when he was on I forget what the board was called, but he knew all about my troop in Woodale, Illinois.
No, that's pretty
And
cool.
he was from up here, but
Well, okay, so people don't know up here for Wisconsin for Scott right now is just literally above the border of Illinois and Wisconsin. So
I
it's
could
not
be in
like-
Illinois in something like 7 miles.
Yeah, so it's not like oh wow, you're so far away.
I'm up north.
And a lot of people vacation or have summer homes or
They call this
do a lot
little
of stuff in
Chicago here,
Wisconsin,
correct?
especially southern Wisconsin. I mean, they go all the way up to the Dells.
Oh,
Okay, the
they go
Dells.
even farther than that, but
Well, what else
Lake-
is there to see in Wisconsin?
besides like Green Bay, which people go up to all the time.
For football, that's about it.
Yes. Up by Lake Superior, I forget the name of this community that's up there. It's very huge. Door County is.
Oh yeah, Door County, and then we used to
Big,
go up
big.
to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to go through
Yes.
Wisconsin
Correct.
to go for snowmobiling.
And of course,
But
all
yeah,
the
you have most of the stuff there in Lake Geneva for the
Frank Lloyd
resorts.
Wright houses are in central Wisconsin.
Yeah, and Illinois, Chicago.
Yes.
So that's cool. But yes, there's a lot of people that travel up by you. So okay, over by you there. All right. So anything else about your childhood, or should we move on to adolescence? Coming out of school, working in family businesses, stuff like that.
Adolescence. I thought
Yeah.
adolescence was like when you go through puberty.
Okay, you call it puberty. That's fine. Scott calls it puberty.
That's from the Colonel Potter. I think it was Colonel Potter. It might have been the one where he was no, it was not. It was the Harry Morgan in Support Your Local Sheriff when he talks about his daughter when she went through puberty. It hit her kind of hard.
Okay.
Yes. See, I can remember stupid ass shit.
See, just so people don't know, Scott does not like talking about himself.
I just like to talk, but not about myself. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
no, but he doesn't like talking about himself. So I got to pull it out of him. If you go back and find the other time where I've interviewed him, we had the same challenge. So what did you do growing up? Businesses, lawn mowing business, snow shoveling business,
Well,
paper boy.
I never was a paper boy, but I did sell greeting cards door to door. I want to say I was 8 or 9 when I started doing that. I did that for 3 years. We used to do Christmas caroling, my brother and I and 2 of our neighbors. So we had 2 girls and 2 boys, and we'd, make a little money at Christmas time, Christmas caroling. I started cutting grass with a non-powered lawnmower, push mower.
One of the spinner ones, the good ones?
Spinner ones, yes.
Nice.
The ones that are so freaking dangerous because you can cut your toes right off on those things because there's no guards. So I did that, and then I made enough money in the first season to actually buy my first little lawnmower, gas-powered lawnmower.
Cool.
And of course, starting at age 7, every Saturday and during the summer, a couple days a week, I would help my dad at the donut shop in Melrose Park, Illinois. The first thing I did was I ran the coffee counter. When anybody came up to the coffee counter, I served the coffee and got their donuts. Somebody else had to ring up the cash register because I was still too short to actually get up there and
actually see where it was.
Yes. Although by the time I was 10, I had sprouted up. And by 10, I was running the cash register. I was actually probably, might have been younger than that. But
This
10
is
for
something I
sure.
don't remember. Did your dad always have the donut shop, or did he do a business before or work for somebody before?
Okay. He worked for the United States government in the Navy.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, once he came out of the Navy.
When he came out of the Navy, he was a diesel mechanic on a tender ship in the Navy. Rode out a hurricane,
which
all
makes
that
you
stuff.
think donuts right away.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You know that if you can be a diesel mechanic or on a tender ship, you obviously know how to make donuts. That makes perfect sense, right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Tender donuts.
So when he was on Liberty halfway through his tour, he was standing outside the bar because he didn't drink as much as the other guys did. He only had 2 beers. That was enough for him. So he was waiting for his buddies to come out, and an admiral came out, looked around, didn't see his driver, pointed at my dad, says, "You're now my driver. Get in the Jeep and I'll tell you where to go." The rest of the war that he was in service for, the rest of his tour, he was the admiral's driver.
That's
so
pretty cool.
When he was discharged from the Navy, he came back to Elmwood Park, Illinois, and he doesn't talk much about what he did before that because he went into the Navy shortly after graduated from high school. But he took a job as a cabbie. Figured he was driving this admiral around. He knows how to drive, right? So while he was driving, he ran into the same problem that cops did in the old days. This is before convenience stores. Where the hell do you go at 2:00 in the morning to get something to eat and drink? Coffee, name. If you didn't bring your own stuff with you, you had to go. So he used to stop at the donut shop on Harlem, and I can never remember. It wasn't Harlem and Irving, but it was on Harlem somewhere. And ended up meeting my mom there. They, obviously being a cabbie, he stopped there frequently, flirted with them. They ended up dating. They ended up getting married.
You got to slow down. Your mom was a cabbie too?
No, she worked at the donut shop.
Thank you.
I bashed that part up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she worked at the donut shop. Cool. For Sid Loeb, who I called Uncle Sid all my life because, even though he wasn't a real uncle, that's what you did with the guys.
Yeah, close family friend.
So, shortly after they got married, something was weird about not wanting to drive in the wintertime as a cabbie or whatever in the city. So Sid offered my dad a job so that he could, because he was into real estate also. So he had offered my dad a job to become the donut maker so that he didn't work as many hours at the donut shop to do more real estate. Make sense?
Yeah.
So then shortly after that, my mom got pregnant. And Sid said, "Hey, you're going to have a family. why didn't you buy the place from me? I'm making more money in real estate than I was making doing donuts now. So my dad bought the place.
Very cool.
And then, of course, once I was born, when they were both working at the donut shop together, they would bring me in my little bassinet and they'd stick me in an empty flour bin underneath the table while they worked. So I slept there making donuts. And the first solid food I ate was a donut.
Very cool. So, since this is your show and it is the halfway point, I figure we'll take a break right here so you can go leave and bring in Funguy the Entertainer.
Yo, fun guy, get your ass in here.
To do the genuine positivity message. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Scott leaves, Funguy the Entertainer arrives, and we get positive.
You know it's love when you can pass gas right next to your partner.
Yep. You know what I call the Dutch ovens now, right? Where you fart underneath your covers.
You betcha.
What's that?
It's the COVID test.
At home.
At home COVID test. Yep.
Yep.
The free at home. Well, it's not necessarily free because your spouse goes, "Hey,
Well,
get the hell out of here."
Hopefully they do that.
Yeah.
They don't do that, then you got troubles.
Yeah.
You got troubles right here in River City. All righty. So we've gone through puberty. And Scott has a donut shop background, working coming from being under the counter to below the counter to being able to reach above the counter, because you were below the counter behind the cash register. You couldn't reach the top.
Well, I was tall enough to reach over the counter. I just couldn't hit the cash register because it was taller.
Gotcha. To working at the donut shop when you could. So what did you do? What were some of your jobs out of school?
After the donut shop, my dad suggested that actually we moved. And we kept the donut shop for a while, but my dad ended up selling the donut shop because it was just too much of a drive going, from Lake Zurich all the way into Melrose Park. And at that point, he said, you should get a job someplace else to learn more about other types of work. So at the age of 15, I went to work for McDonald's. My first store was the one on Rand Road, which is Highway 12.
Right.
And I think Arlington Heights Road was the crossroad. They turned it into a museum, but I think now that's gone too. But that was where I went to work first, training for the Lake Zurich McDonald's to open. When the Lake Zurich McDonald's opened, I was the first employee in the store on opening day. I got there at 4:00 in the morning and waited till the manager got there, which was like 10 minutes later. I walked up to the door. When they opened up, unlocked the door and pulled it open, I walked through the door so I could be the first employee in the store on opening day. Yay!
Yay!
And I surprised the management team there. They had me working the grill. And when we first opened up, the first day wasn't too awful bad. It was just, we trained in other locations. So we all knew what we were supposed to do, but we had never worked together as a team. So there were a couple of hiccups, but it wasn't bad. But then, they call that a soft opening. And then a week later, they have the official grand opening, right?
Right.
And we had Ronald McDonald show up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They had me working grill. They did not expect the amount of customers that we had come in. Okay.
Yeah.
The place was a zoo. I was running 24 sets of meat constantly on the grill at any given time for 4 straight hours.
Yeah.
Never burned a burger.
And that's back in the days, folks, where they had calls like do 12 on the turn. And then when you turn the first 12, you put 12 more patties down because it was so busy. So Scott was doing 24. Now they don't even turn the burgers anymore.
No, they have
They have
clamshells.
a clamshell that comes down on top and cooks it. But yeah.
It looks like a giant waffle maker. They put the burgers down, poof. Timer goes off. They lift it up. They scoop everything off. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no more turns. So,
but then we were running into some problems. They had me train a couple of the other employees how to do what I did efficiently. It's really not that hard. You just have to concentrate. You can't be screwing around with just, a lot of teenagers can't focus.
I'm sorry, what were you talking about?
Exactly. You're not even a teenager.
Not?
So we were having a problem. The manager was talking about how the cash drawers up front were constantly off. This was before the computers told you how to give coins back. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, back when people knew how to count change back.
Yes, but none of the kids really paid attention. They were terrible, absolutely terrible. So I told them one day, we're the busiest day of the week for us was Fridays. Fridays were freaking zoos. So I asked them if I could run the cash register on a Friday because that seemed to be the day they were losing the most money. And I ran a $300 an hour lunch for, which is 3 hours long. So it's total $900 in 3 hours. And my cash register was off by 1 penny. So I was proud of working at McDonald's.
Very cool. All right. So what else? What other highlights of careers or jobs or things? Take me up to fun things you did or fun things you tried or did to get you to where you are now.
Boy, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
I was in band. I also
What is
I also sang in choir, but I never had the courage to do any acting on stage when I was in school, mainly because I had a little bit of confidence issue because the bullies would always pick on me because, again, I was kind of short and fat. But I was a pretty good saxophone player. I wasn't great. I was first chair in jazz band, but not in concert. In concert band, I was third. The guy that was in first was phenomenal, but I had a knack. You gave me an instrument and somehow I'm able to play music with it. Don't know why. And for the 1812 overture, I got to play the timpani because the other drummer was from marching band and he did not understand what timpani meant. He wanted to play it like, with his drumsticks and just beat on everything. He goes, no, there's actually sheet music for this. You have to follow the notes. He was just, going on riffs all the time. So I got to do that. And plus I got to shoot the cannon off, which used 12 gauge shotgun blanks to shoot the cannon off. That was fun. Can't think of what else I did that was fun during school.
Well, how about after school?
Well, after school, all right.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff about school. I want to get out of school, past school, and fun stuff you do.
All right. Well, the one thing about after school was I was a busboy. Well, we're not going to go there. I'm not going to get into that story. Now we get into that subject of sex that we don't want to talk about.
What? You had a job doing sex?
Kind of. I learned how to be.
Oh, I found it.
Yay.
I found a video of you playing the timpani.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. There you go. You're in the back there. Yeah. Oh, no.
No.
What happened there?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, those kettle drums, which is what they're called, they're very big. Oops. And there is a heck of a rebound off of those. You have to hang on to those mallets.
Hit that girl right in the face, man.
Yep. But yeah, no,
they didn't. The fact that I knew that video was out there, it took me a little while to bring it up, but that's pretty good timing, I think. For a live edit, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
because you had no idea I was going to bring that up. Because I don't think I even told you about that.
So, what other stuff did you do? I mean,
I worked for Tom and Can Shoes for 2 years.
How many pets?
Our first, well, yeah, we're not supposed to talk about that because that's, people think that's part of your passwords. Actually, it is some of your security questions. What was your first pet? So I cannot tell you what my first pet's name was.
What I'm going for is horses.
Horses. Well, we're not there yet. My first pet was a dog.
Okay. Well, you only got 20 minutes left in the show.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm not looking for password stuff. I'm looking for
All right.
exciting stuff.
Back in 1979, yes, folks, we're going back to 1979. I had started dating a model and dancer from the Chicago area. And we went up to the Playboy Club because when you're, 18 and 19 years old, that's kind of a cool place to go.
And the drinking age in Wisconsin was 18 at the time.
Right. We're versus Illinois, it was 21. So we went up to the Playboy Club to go horseback riding. And I got involved in doing Western style gunfight shows. They picked me as a quote unquote volunteer. They said, you come on out here. You're a volunteer to be a gunfighter. They put a hat on my head, strapped the gun to me. And he told me when the shooting starts, pull out the gun, go bang, 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 and fall down dead. That's all I had to do. So got out there. Black Bart comes out. They're doing their whole.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Thomas relives Black Bart and the Playboy Gunfighters.
That's what it was. And, all of a sudden the guns start going off. I pull out the gun, squeeze the trigger, go bang, 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 bang. And I just throw myself backwards, just like as if I was getting shot for real. Because, everybody else just sort of like sinks down to the ground. I literally went flying backwards. Gun goes flying out of my hand. I lay on the ground and I just lay there. They finished the skit, which took another 8-9 minutes or whatever. And then he gets up and he starts introducing people. And of course, everybody's sitting up that was shot down or standing up already. And I'm still laying there. Right? I'm dead. I'm just laying there. So he goes around, he comes over by me and he boots me with his foot and he goes, oh, ladies and gentlemen, I must have used the real bullet. He under his voice, he goes, are you okay, son? I go, well, yeah, you said to lay here dead until you told me otherwise. He goes, holy shit, you're really good. He says, how'd you like to come up every weekend and do a show with us? Well, you can ride for free. So I spent the next 6 months doing Western style gunfight shows in exchange for free riding. And then I ended up buying one of the horses because it was so much fun. And took him to Steve's house for a parade. And Steve lost him.
I lost him. Yeah. We drove the horse down. I slept outside. The horse slipped his halter and took off down the street. We had police reports that it just went across Glen Ellen Road, so we knew where it was. We went out and found it in the field. And
the part that's funny is, according to my dad, who heard the radio report over the scanner, because we had a scanner, because we're open at night, so you like to know where the cops are in case there's a problem. And the dispatch calls the officer. We have a report that a horse just jumped over a car. It's like, what?
Yeah.
There's no way that horse jumped over a car.
Yes. I can't believe your horse slipped the halter, though. That pissed me off.
What else did he do during the parade? Do you remember?
Pooped.
Well, yeah, but no, the one thing that he did that I didn't know he did.
What?
He drank the bottle of beer from the guy that was standing there.
Took the bottle of beer.
Took the beer right out of the guy's hand and took his head up and drank the freaking bottle of beer. It's like
offered as a joke, and the horse
drank it.
Yeah, Scott wrote that. But that was very nice of Scott to actually invite me to be part of the gunfight shows.
Marshal Scott Thomas and the Bozeman Trail Drifters.
Yep. So he was Marshal Scott Thomas.
I wonder why.
I was and.
Yes, you were and.
I wasn't the Bozeman Trail Drifter.
No.
I was and.
Yeah, he didn't want to be just a drifter. He wanted to be special.
Well, that way, you might have recognized me from Smokey and the Bandit.
Do you remember what my other name was as a gunfighter?
Besides Marshal Scott Thomas? No, I don't.
It was Marshal Scott Thomas when I took over when Black Bart moved to Arizona. But what was my handle
I don't
when
remember.
Black Bart was doing the show?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't hear anything.
There's no way you didn't hear that.
I heard the beginning part and I didn't hear anything else. I heard and I didn't hear anything else.
I was a harmonica kid.
Oh. My favorite show that I remember being part of was the one show. There was a one-story fall. Guy would get shot off the back of the barn for all practical purposes. And then they had a little mule. And then he would ride out on the little mule from behind.
Right.
And they always tied the mule on the far side, but there was somebody new and they tied it on the near side. And as he was going over the edge, he saw the mule, so he tried to jump and move out of the way so he didn't land on the mule. And did he end up breaking his ankle?
Yes, he did.
So it's during the show.
Yep.
And they call the paramedics, and the paramedics are on their way, and the show gets finished because he never rode out. So he's all there. So the show gets finished, and at the end of any good gunfight show, everybody's laying there dead.
Yep.
And the paramedics are walking up to him going, "You okay?" No, it's not me. It's the guy in the back. The guy in the back. The poor paramedics show up, and there's like, was there 8 guys laying on the ground? So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It really was.
Yeah, those were the good old days.
That's actually how I met Susie as a gunfighter, but not at the Playboy Club. It's when I went into town to the disco, and I was the only one dressed in full cowboy regalia in a disco. So I obviously stood out.
Did you think it was Urban Cowboy Night or something? But
I was still in costume. I just went. We actually, what had happened is after the show, we went into town as a group and we did a show at one of the other clubs. And then we were all done with that because that was a paid gig. I just drove 3 blocks down the street to at the time it was the Ease on Down. And,
he's on down the road.
When you're 19, 20 years old and, you're getting paid to be a badass gunfighter, you do stupid shit like going to a disco in full gear.
Why not?
Yeah, including my gun.
Yeah.
And my assless chaps.
So otherwise they would have been pants.
That's right.
So what else did you do? Stuff like that? Where were you living at that time? Was that still Illinois? You hadn't moved up to Wisconsin yet, right?
No, that's right before I moved up here.
Okay.
It's when I went to the disco, that's where I met my wife. We ended up dating for like almost 2 years before we got married. And we tried living in Illinois. That didn't work because how good for her because she couldn't handle the crazy traffic. And we ended up moving back up to Wisconsin.
Cool. Did you do anything else during that time? Anything fun you can think of?
I remember that when I was working at the donut shop.
You would call into a radio show at night.
Yes, we used to do that all the time. But there was this young kid just out of high school that he was really into weird yellow cars. No, was it a white car or a yellow car?
It was yellow. It was
yellow
Monte Carlo.
Right.
I wasn't into it. I mean,
and he had this
put weird tires on it.
He had this knack for mechanical stuff, and I had a broken down vehicle, and he helped me get my vehicle running, and I ended up being his friend
because some of the people you had working in the donut shop were friends of mine from middle school.
Yes. Kathy May.
Tim Fink.
Tim wasn't working there. It was his girl.
No, Tim didn't work there. Kathy worked there, and his girlfriend, which became his wife, worked there. I can't remember her name now. Oh, man.
I want to say it was Anna.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
But so your donut shop was it
Bloomingdale Road? Yep.
And
Bloomingdale and
my
Fullerton.
Middle school was literally right behind it. So like the corner of the street where he had the strip center, and then behind that was the middle school. They came out on both sides of where Scott's strip center, where the donut shop was.
Yes.
So me being silly and goofy, had a place to hang out at night, because where else are you going to hang out at 2:00 in the morning when everything else is closed down?
Yes. When you're underage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not in the bars, but yeah, I used to call into a radio show and be on that radio show all the time. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And there were 2 shows.
Wasn't it Y108?
There were 2 shows you called into. The one guy knew you, the DJ knew you, and you'd get on all the time. And then the other one that you get on once in a while, very rarely, but you listen to all the time, was Coast to Coast.
Yeah.
And the funny part about Coast to Coast is when I moved, it's now George Norrie, but it was Art Bell, and Art Bell lives in Pahrump, Nevada. And when I moved here to Nevada, I knew who Art Bell was because of Scott, and he lived in my town. And this guy was a national radio
small
host.
world after all.
Yeah, kind of crazy. But then did you ever do anything on the radio or anything besides just call in?
Yeah, it was really weird. Once I moved back up to Wisconsin, I kept in touch with you. And after doing some of the gunfight shows, I got talked into working at a radio station called WMIR 1500 AM. And you and I decided to do a Saturday night, not necessarily talk show because we played music, but it was one of those things where you were given a little leeway to do some fun stuff in between songs.
Yeah, we talked as much as songs we played, if not sometimes more.
Yes.
We had Lake Geneva traffic reports where
Correct.
we would call the
and weather.
local, we would call the local restaurants and or businesses.
Yes.
And have them take their
look out your
phone,
window.
because
Tell us what the traffic's
yeah,
like.
because this was before cell phones. So they would have to take their phone and they would get free pub for their restaurant or business. And all they had to do was go outside the front door and tell us what the traffic or the weather was like.
Exactly.
So that was fun.
We did that for like 4 months, but then they changed the format of the radio station.
Yeah. They
Which
sold the
which was the stupidest thing they ever did, because 6 months later they were out of business.
yeah. Well, that was a cool station.
It was, which is why we're doing this now, because we had fun doing that.
And if you recall, we did we also would order food
Yep.
on the air. We would pay for it, but we had the one guy come deliver the pizzas for us, and then the boss sent him back to give us our money back. He told me just keep it as a tip, but that was fun. And then we had some people that were driving through, and they just came into the radio station, took pictures with us, and left. They thought the show was very entertaining and fun. So, yep, we had some great roving reporters.
Sylvia Rose.
Yep, Sylvia Rose was fun. But yeah, we had some fun with that.
The only thing we didn't do is we didn't do any Howard Stern material.
No, we didn't need to, but then again, we also are not
Rich and famous.
rich and
Yeah.
famous and didn't do a movie or anything like that. And Bad Life Decisions led to a YouTube show, podcast, and Twitch stream.
Yes. All of which make us so much money. We're going to retire next week.
Yeah, helps me on my taxes.
Shit, my nose grew again, didn't it?
Yeah, got to do taxes yet. So, what about, like, did you do any other DJing anywhere else besides the radio station?
Yes. And actually, I remember sometime back in the late 70s, you had hooked up with somebody to do a DJ show.
Yeah,
And
Roy Corey.
yeah,
We were doing it in Addison.
Yep.
I was at the Hideout Lounge.
yes. And I tagged along a few times, thought it was kind of cool. So when I moved up to Wisconsin, I ended up getting a part-time job working for Mad Cat Music, which was out of Lake Geneva area. And I ended up becoming one of their top wedding DJs. And the problem is, I really liked Mike and Joanne tremendously, but they were not upgrading their equipment. I was still playing records, and CDs were already out. So I built my own system with dual CD players and a cassette player, because cassettes were still hot at that time. And the whole thing. And I offered to, split the cost of the show with them. In other words, they paid me more money. I'd use my own equipment, which would be like a plug for them, but they didn't want to do that. So I ended up going off on my own.
And what kind of places did you work at, and what did you branch off from being just a DJ? You did something else too.
Started off obviously just doing weddings and corporate events and stuff like that. And there were a couple times when I was at events and I would sing along to the songs, the regular songs, because I sing well and I'm an entertainer. So I would do stuff like that. And karaoke was starting to make it big in the mid 90s. So I got talked. One of the places that I was working at all the time said, "Hey, why don't you get a karaoke machine? We'd love to have you come here and do karaoke for us, during the weekdays in the summertime." So I picked up a karaoke player, and started buying discs, got a couple bar jobs, and all of a sudden my entertainment company went from being, 30 shows a year to 500 shows a year. I had 7 DJ systems and vehicles going out constantly all year round. And then I had a hall decorating division with balloons. We specialized in balloons and fabrics and stuff like that. So that was kind of fun. Technically, I still have all this stuff, but we don't get a lot of work.
Yeah, COVID didn't help.
No, it did not.
Yep, Scott decorated my wedding.
Yes. Well, my company did it, and I'm, of course, part of that. But in all actuality, my wife and I did most of the work together. All the big jobs she was involved in.
Very cool.
I only did little ones by myself.
Yep, I remember her doing the toppers and all that for the tables and everything. It was cool. It was really nice.
So, anywho's.
So what else? What else about you do you want to tell us about? It's the closing waning moments of our TV show. What TV show?
Our YouTube show. Our Twitch show.
What did I not say that you're like, oh, we should have talked about this? Your story writing. Are you a published author, even if it's self-published?
Yeah, but it's not. I actually started to write a fantasy book because I was very big into Dungeons and Dragons, and I gained with some of the best writers and artists in the industry.
So that's something that you didn't mention. The fact that where did Dungeons and Dragons start?
If I recall correctly, in a basement.
Geographic.
Oh, Lake Geneva.
And where were you at the time?
I was in Elkhorn,
which is by
Lake Geneva.
So you got to make it difficult.
Yes, I am. You know why, right?
Why?
Because I can.
But this is supposed to be about you.
Oh.
So it's pretty cool that you got to play with. I mean, you got to brag about it, dude. Who'd you get to play with?
Well, I got to play. I only played a couple times with Larry Gygax, but I got to play with his son for quite a few years. I also played.
Okay. For those of you who don't know who that is,
Gary Gygax is one of the original founders of the game Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go. That's cool.
Yes. And Valerie Valusik was one of the main artists of the game. As a matter of fact, I have some of her original artwork that she's presented me gifts over the years while we were playing. And one of these days I'm going to have to get it out and put it up. At one time I had planned on turning my office into a dungeon. Never got around to it.
And Susie said, oh, hell no, you're not.
That's kind of why I never got around to it.
Yeah.
So, yes, I've done a lot of stuff throughout my life.
Yes, but that's pretty cool. I mean,
but it all boils down to the same
that,
things. I'm an entertainer. And I
you
tell
people, brag on that, though.
It's not a job. It's what I am. My whole persona is I like to make people laugh, smile, chuckle, have a good time. It's all about having a good time. I'll do anything I can that's legal. And one of the things that says, even on my website, if it's fun and legal, we're involved in it. Because back in the day, I used to get people, hey, man, can you get us some horse? No, it's not what we do. It's not legal.
That's cool. So let's see. What else did, why do I have to pull this out of you?
Well, because otherwise it would be a monologue. I mean, I can give you my whole freaking biography, but it would take a lot longer than an hour. And
Donny Osmond did it. Donny Osmond did it in 5 minutes. He sang the Osmond rap, and I learned all about him.
There we
5
go.
minutes.
But besides, we're already past our hour, so it worked out good.
Yeah. So there's nothing else you want to leave us with before we go to our word of the week?
No.
Just like that.
No.
That's how you treat. That's how you treat our.
Well, I talked about how we got back together because of that, of us doing this stuff in the old days.
Nope.
So, and that really was all right. Actually, I will do this because it is actually quite important. You and I kept in touch, even when we were, because we're in different areas. You bet you were in California, then you were in Nevada, but we kept in touch.
Right.
And I did my Twitch streaming in the past, but it was gaming, which is what the original Twitch platform was gamers. And I had a YouTube channel and I did some stuff. And one of the times when we hooked up again and we're just shooting the shit, catching up on stuff, I had mentioned my show. You had looked at it, said, "Hey, you know what we should do? We should get our radio show back together and do our show."
Yeah, because I was doing What Happened to Las Vegas today.
Yes. So we put this together and we had the very first Max Headroom What Happened to the World show.
Because internet was bad.
It was terrible. Folks, really, go to YouTube, find our show, and go to the first couple of weeks of the show. You will laugh your head off because of how
technology. Yeah.
It's just like, it was terrible. Do you remember the old Oriental movies where the voices would talk, but they were never in sync with the lips? That's what this was like.
Yeah, we had those challenges. We had a lot of challenges.
Don't get me wrong.
This is show 425.
Isn't that amazing? That's what I wanted to mention. We'll talk about this more next week, but this will be a teaser. Several months ago, at the end of last year, we had talked about the new social apps. Steve was trying to make some new friends to see, maybe do some golfing and stuff like that with. So I signed up for Bumble because there's a link there for best friends. When I did that, I also found out there's a thing for businesses for networking and stuff like that. So I signed up for Bumble, and next week I'll tell you what I have found so far.
Cool. I just added it to the show subjects for next week. I think.
Yes, I see that. It works.
Did I?
Yep.
Wait, no, this isn't right. Is that right?
Several months, Bumble businesses.
Yeah, but the 312, is that what that show is going to air on YouTube? Yep. That is what's going to air on YouTube.
Yeah.
It'll be live here on the 6th. On 3/6. But yeah, so cool. So this was our show celebrating Scott.
Me.
Even though I had to pull a lot of stuff out of him. He did a good job. So it makes you think a lot, doesn't it?
I would probably think better if there was a chance I could find a Phrontistery.
Right. Fronian is to think. It is a thinking place, a Phrontistery, place to go think. From Phrontistis, a thinker, from Frontian.
Wait.
To think. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, see, I got the thinking post.
No. Isn't it this? The thinker?
Yeah, that's the thinker, but this is the thinking post.
Are you sure?
When I did the live stage shows, that's what we were supposed to do.
That's
because otherwise you cover your face.
Well, he puts it under his chin.
Yes. Well, yeah.
See?
Sí, señor.
Here he actually is thinking.
So, but that's why when we were on stage, we were supposed to do this about thinking.
Peas and carrots, peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots.
For those of you who don't understand what that's for, when you're supposed to be talking in the background, but nobody hears you to make
you're supposed to be making noise.
Yes. You just say peas and carrots, because it makes your mouth move like you're actually talking.
And they hear the peas and carrots. So there's two things you can do. You can do it without the audio and just look like you're talking in the background.
Yes.
Or you actually do it and then they hear the indistinguished.
It's called background. Oh shoot, I just had it.
Yeah, it's called background noise.
No, but for voices, it's a different word. It's not noise. Oh shoot.
Background talking. Ambient noise.
That's it.
Browse a limited library stock of background talking noises and start downloading today with a subscription plan. Crowded people, MP Weaves, MP3, wave sound effects. Download.
Must
People talking
download.
in background, ambient crowd noises. There you go.
Yes. Good old ambient. Sounds
So
like an
that
over-the-counter
was our
medicine.
word of the week. A place to go think is Phrontistery. A monastery.
Phrontistery. Phrontistery.
Phrontistery. Because it's a monastery. So you take the tistery and then Phron.
Phrontistery?
Phrontistery.
Okay, Phrontistery.
Like monastery.
Yes.
Tistery.
Phrontistery.
Phrontistery. A place where you can go and think.
We learned something new today.
Putting all the
Hopefully you did too.
Putting them all together. So with that, I want to say, hope you enjoyed learning more about Scott. And I want to say thank you for watching. Okay.
That's my
that
ending
was
today.
him. I think that was him saying his party and of the ending.
Yes.
But want you to go down to whathappened.world. We'll get that fixed eventually, but you can still link to us and stuff like that. I put a lot of stuff up on there this week. I don't know if you
Our
went and
show's
saw
been
it.
going up. I checked.
Did you go see what I did this Friday? When I posted?
No, I haven't looked this last couple of days. I did my
Oh.
stuff like on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay, I posted my stuff up on there. So
Cool.
I was there on Friday at the Tuscany Piazza Lounge at the Kenny
Yes.
Davidson song where they bring a bunch of people in to sing. And
You drove all the way to Italy just to go to Tuscany.
yep, something like that. So all righty. Well, I want you to live every day, and we'll see you on the next show.
Be genuinely positive, live and love life, and please have a good one.
Be crazy.